Hello everyone and welcome back to another video about functional analysis. In the previous video, we have introduced all the relevant aspects about the response and consequence relationship. We have seen all the fundamental aspects about the consequence stimulation. Do you remember the short-term consequence and long-term consequence? Okay, it's time to talk about the consequence of reinforcement and punishment corresponding to the response and consequence relationship. What is the reinforcement? What is the punishment? Why these contingencies are important in clinical psychology? Let's find out. Okay, to find out, it is important to see the step-by-step development of the functional analysis. The first part that I must develop is the part of the stimulus and response relationship. Is the part that is in green color. In antecedent stimulation, we have a context, external event, internal event. In stimulus and response relationship, a discriminative and conditioned stimulus and response relationship. Response, physiological response, cognitive response, and motor response, and stop. This is the first part. Second part is about the consequence stimulation. What happens immediately the behavior occurs is the part of the short-term consequence. Second part in light purple. Part number 3. Response and consequence relationship about reinforcement and punishment. The topic of today. Contingencies in positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, and positive punishment and negative punishment. Finally, the long-term consequence or delayed consequence, where we show whether there is a high probability of the occurrence of behavior or a low. Information that we can infer thanks to the discriminative relationship and the behavioral response functional class itself. This is a small step-by-step map of functional analysis. We have the part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Today is important to see part 3, response functional class, or the function. Function can be in two types of contingents, reinforcement and punishment. Reinforcement increases the probability of occurrence of behavior, and punishment decreases the probability of occurrence of behavior. And in reinforcement we have two types of reinforcement: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment, positive punishment and negative punishment. In the context of all the reinforcement, we can see the definition about positive reinforcement and the definition of the negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement: appetitive stimulation, event or consequence that, when placed in the environment, increase the probability of the occurrence of behavior. And negative reinforcement: aversive stimulation, event or consequence that, when we eliminate it from the environment, will increase the probability of the behavior occurring. We find different kinds of positive reinforcement: groceries, attentional, tangible, and social. Oh, it seems there are more kinds of reinforcement, sorry. Symbolic and sensory reinforcement. Examples: fruits, pizza, burger, soda, hot dog, beer, snacks. Foods, isn't it? Foods that increase the occurrence of the behavior. Second, attentional. Attentional is omnipresent in all the context. At the same time, we reinforce behaviors through the attention, indirect or indirect ways. Tangible: contact with objects, for example, video games, cell phones, books, toys, balls, money. Objects that increase the probability of the behavior. The next is social reinforcement. Compliments, congratulations, or applause. It is the way we reinforce behaviors verbally or not verbally. The next is symbolic reinforcement. For example, grades or money. And finally, we have sensory reinforcement, where contact with our own body can be reinforcing. Self-stimulation, for example, either by masturbation or by some type of behavior that leads me to feel pleasure in my body. So, positive reinforcement, appetitive stimulation, event or consequence that, when placed in the environment, increase the probability of the occurrence of behavior. Please understand this, and in the next video I will carry out examples on functional analysis corresponding with positive reinforcement. This has been all for today, and thanks for listening to me. Bye.